how Jurgen Klopp could set up Liverpool in the 2022-23 season. First and foremost, I think the first thing that is going to happen is the 4-3-3 will be continued. Jurgen Klopp has made it his formation at Anfield, but last season there was some really interesting rotation that caught my eye. Notably, Trent Alexander-Arnold moving into an inverted position into central midfield. At times we saw him driving inside and getting into that little pocket of space, or alternatively actually attacking the inside left channel, allowing Trent Alexander-Arnold to pull himself wide. I think at the start of the season as well, when we saw Harvey Elliott in that sort of right-sided central midfield position, there was a lot of interchange. We had Trent in the inside channel, Salah was moving in, Elliott was providing an overlap. The fluidity was fantastic, and we could see that again this season. Of course, for Trent Alexander-Arnold, one of the best creative players, ball-playing players in world football, getting him into that central midfield zone or attacking midfield zone has only seen him become a better player. Then Liverpool obviously moved on from a tactical sense and went to a little bit of a diamond in the bigger games with Naby Keita moving into midfield, basically moving into number 10. The width held by the two wide players, Mane, Jota, Diaz, Salah usually on the right-hand side. But Liverpool created a little bit of a lopsided diamond in midfield. They'd use this to play through the lines. They did very successfully against Manchester United, being one of the teams that they absolutely destroyed, using this kind of midfield 4-2-2-2 shape, of course, with the wingers wide and high. Very similar to what we've seen with Pep Guardiola's team as Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola evolve their tactics and arguably become very, very similar. So what could we see this season? I think that's the next big question. Obviously, Liverpool have done really well in the transfer market, in my opinion, bringing Fabio Carvalho in from Fulham, bringing Darwin Núñez in from Benfica, and of course bringing Calvin Ramsey in, of course, from Aberdeen in Scotland. All three signings fantastic. Ramsey, of course, will deputise when Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to get a rest. Of course, Joe Gomez can also play that position as right back if, Liverpool want to play a kind of a lopsided back three, throw Robertson high. But of course, Trent will be starting this season. Carvalho as well has shone in pre-season, shone in the Championship last year, but I expect him to, be more of an impact player off the bench or play League Cup minutes or so forth, with Diaz showing some really good form since moving from Porto. Of course, Liverpool's midfield shape is going to be quite interesting. Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho is easily going to be their first choice. Big game team. The work rate of Henderson, pressing, harrying the opposition's backline, but also, getting into that wide area and putting crosses into the box. Thiago loves to drop into that little pocket of space, allows Robertson to overlap Diaz on the wing, and of course, as we mentioned, Trent getting into that central midfield zone, spraying switches, spraying balls to Salah, but also getting himself into that final third to cross the ball into the box. I think Darwin Núñez's introduction this side may slightly change things, although we did see Mane play a bit of a kind of more of a striker role at the back end of the season, playing high, and that's exactly what Darwin Núñez will do. Darwin Núñez, from a tactical aspect, likes to drift into this left channel and make runs in behind defences, so could lead to a little bit of fluidity. If Diaz isn't playing as that winger and Jota comes in from that left-hand side, we could see interchange with Jota moving inside as Darwin Núñez spins and makes that run into the channel. He did it consistently for Benfica. Got a really good assist at the back end of the season with a player, attacking that vacated space that he created by pulling wide for Benfica. And I think Darwin Núñez is a really interesting player for Liverpool. Liverpool needed to kind of evolve their attack again. We've seen Firmino, Mane, Salah rip the Premier League and Champions League up for a number of years now. But I think there was time to move it on. We saw that with Luis Diaz joining from Porto to supply and assist Mohamed Salah, but now also we're going to see it with Darwin Núñez, and then in this sense replacing Mane's goals as more of a traditional number 9. Last season in the Portuguese League, Portugal, he scored 26 goals in 28 games, a goal every 77 minutes. Also provided his teammates with 4 assists, basically involved in a goal more than one a game, which is absolutely disgusting. In terms of the play of Darwin Núñez, he is a pressing forward that's going to run in behind, that's going to harry you at the back line, and not really be involved in the game as much as, say, someone like a Roberto Firmino. You can see there with his 9.9 passes per game, that is quite low compared to, let's take a Roberto Firmino and his statistics in the Premier League for Liverpool. You know, he's averaging 19.1 passes per game. So you're seeing double the amount of passes through Roberto Firmino as he drops off and links the play. That's where you're going to get a slight difference for Darwin Núñez, that he'll prefer to, you know, run into the channels. He'll prefer to stretch the opposition getting in behind. And as you can see by the heat map, very left-sided. That's what he likes to do. Make that move out left and then run in, which opens up a number of tactical options for Jurgen Klopp, which is going to, you know, be pretty good for Liverpool and good for Jurgen Klopp in terms of he wants to go out there and try and win the quadruple again. Having Darwin Núñez in his team could be interesting, because as much as we talk of him as this number 9 in this central position, Liverpool traditionally have had their goal scorers out wide under Jurgen Klopp. We think Mane wide left, Salah wide right. So in fact, we could see Darwin Núñez actually start from the left wing in certain games, maybe play a Roberto Firmino through the middle to link the play, make this kind of, you know, diamond in midfield, and allow Darwin Núñez to stretch teams on the, you know, on the other way, you know, running in behind them, splitting the defence, or alternatively, you know, finishing off a bit of Salah individual play, or alternatively, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold crossing from that deep area. I think that's something that we'll see with Darwin Núñez, whether he starts as a 9 or he starts as a left winger. You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold swinging those balls to the far post for him to attack. Good in the air, could be better, but has potential, got the height, got the size, got the power to be a really complete forward. I think that's an interesting, you know, iteration of Liverpool and where they're going to go. Alternatively, we could see a 3-diamond-3 in possession. City have done it at times with Gabriel Jesus through the middle, but I think Liverpool could do it as well. When we talk this kind of 3-4-3 diamond, let's take a look at the Liverpool team that we've got right now and how that could evolve. You think for Liverpool, one of the biggest strengths they've had is, of course, Andy Robertson providing that kind of wing-back play in the final third, getting wide and putting balls into the box. So what we could have in this situation is that Robertson becomes the nominal winger, Firmino drops off the line, Núñez moves into that number 10 area, Salah provides the width in the final third, and maybe the back four kind of like trickles over and Trent becomes a bit of a centre-back, you know, in a sense of, we know that Trent is unbelievable on the ball. His passing is absolutely fantastic. As we see pressing, moving to squeeze the fullbacks, maybe moving to a back 3 and Trent actually moving inside as a central defender, or a bit of a, you know, overlapping centre-back in that sense of, you know, not only would he stay and distribute the ball deep, but he could provide, you know, width in the final third, overlapping you know, Mohamed Salah when the ball's in that area, as Henderson could cover, but basically getting Trent on the ball even more in this shape. Alternatively, it could be kind of a situation like we've seen with Nagelsmann with RB Leipzig, where Konrad Laimer defended as a right wing back and then attacked in central midfield. We could see a similar thing with Henderson maybe dropping to that kind of deeper area and Trent moving inside, and kind of our 3-diamond-3 being made up of a back of Van Dijk, Konate, Henderson midfield of Thiago, Fabinho, Trent, Firmino, and then that front 3 still of Núñez, Robertson and Salah. I think that could be a really interesting tactical evolution. You think at number 10, you know, throwing someone like Harvey Elliott into that position, alternatively Carvalho, or if Liverpool wanted to go, you know, super aggressive and attacking, you know, throwing a Diaz out wide in the, you know, back end of a game or chasing a game could be an interesting solution. But let's move away from the crazy tactics. Let's go to more traditional tactics. One of the things we've seen Liverpool do in recent years is play a 4-2-4 shape, in a sense of throwing the likes of a Jota in attacking midfield or second striker, Salah on one wing, Diaz on the other. We saw this shape against Spurs with, I think it was Mane through the middle in the Darwin Núñez position. And this worked quite well. Liverpool got a real head of steam in this 4-2-4 shape. I think it's a system that Liverpool could play. I think a Darwin Núñez is speeding behind. We'll open up a little second striker pocket for Jota. You've got width out wide. Obviously, both players cutting inside in Salah and Diaz. Natural width in Robertson. Trent could move into central midfield to complement that area. But there's a lot of progress and rotation with Jurgen Klopp. We saw him tactically evolve last season, and I think we'll tactically see him evolve again, which is, again, just exciting for Liverpool fans and Jurgen Klopp. But anyway, guys, that's been my thoughts. My thoughts on Liverpool this season in the Premier League. I think it will be 4-3-3. I think it will be Darwin Núñez through the middle. I think we'll see Luis Diaz out wide. Trent, Robertson, they're going to continue. The midfield will be fluid. We'll probably see the likes of Harvey Elliott being rotated, Fabio Carvalho, with also Henderson in there, Thiago, Fabinho, and all that good stuff. You know, one of the big things Liverpool have got right now is a fantastic fantastic squad, which puts him in that bracket with Manchester City. There's only 2 teams that can win the league for me, and it's either of those 2. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below if you're impressed by Liverpool's recruitment this summer and in the last January window, and how would you set up as Jurgen Klopp? See you later.